what problems did you have with your sleep? Obviously, you had insomnia. I wanted to go back to times before you started working with me. What was the problem?
Well, the problem was I couldn't get to sleep, and I needed to have a trigger to get to sleep. I would just lie awake, wondering when am I going to get to sleep. It probably may have started from my partner leaving me several years prior, and I had difficulty getting over it. It was very difficult to get to sleep, and I would just lie awake for hours, hoping that I would get to sleep.
Okay. So your problem was more like an emotional, psychological.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it was that, and I just needed to have this trigger, so I would take tablets to set me off.
Okay.
And they would work.
Did the tablets work?
Oh, they definitely worked for a while. I had them for many years, and then relied on them until after some time the effects were wearing off, and I would have to have more tablets, or I would increase the dosage and also supplement them with herbal sleeping tablets. But in the end, it just didn't work.
Mm-hmm. How long have you had your insomnia for?
Well, it started probably around 2003, 2004.
15 years.
Yes. And it would, and I just relied on the tablets. Every now and again, I would go a night or two without tablets just to see if I could get myself off them, but it was more comfortable taking them.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Now, was that affecting other parts of your life?
It would. The insomnia and the whole thing was that I would get up, work, and go to bed, so to speak. That was the whole cycle of life. I imagine it probably affected my temperament.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had friends who told me I was bad-tempered, but I learned to moderate, even though I didn't feel as though I wanted to moderate.
Okay. Now, how long? When you said you would get up at night and do stuff, how long did you do that for? Like every night? How long did that go for?
I would, if I couldn't sleep, I would get up in the night and start doing things, and hopefully it would trigger getting tired. And sometimes I would be up for 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours in the middle of the night, and then go back to sleep around 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, and how did you feel when you used to wake up in the morning?
I would, more often than not, I would wake up and think, oh dear, it's morning. Have I got to really get up? I didn't want to do that. I hadn't had enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I had to get up.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. Was that having your insomnia? Was it kind of affecting you emotionally or physically in any way?
Yes, it would be frustrating that I was not sleeping, and I think that it would worry me that, yeah, I've got through another day, now I've got to go to bed again, am I going to go to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a gamble. Am I going to go to sleep?
Right. you weren't sure even if you would sleep or not tonight, so you would basically wouldn't know what is going to happen.
I wouldn't know what from one night to another. I mean,
yeah,
there were some nights when I would sleep the whole night through, especially if I'd had a spate of not sleeping. It catches up with you, and yeah, sometimes I would think, oh, I actually slept the whole night. But they were very few and far between.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's just move on to the next question. Just how did you actually hear about me? How did you find me?
Well, I found you by accident because I had been thinking about alternative ways of getting a better sleep, and one of them was through hypnosis. I had already seen a hypnotist, and I had several sessions with her, but unfortunately it didn't seem to work too well.
Yep.
It didn't work at all. But there were some things about, I've forgotten the name of the person who I went to see, and I was hoping to glean ideas from him, and he told me that there was one person in his team there that could possibly help me, and that was you. And that is how I met you at that seminar on hypnosis, and that's when it all started to go, and I'm really glad I've met you.
Yes. Well, that's good. All right. So since then, what happens since then? I just wanted to let people know your experience with me. Now they know how we met, how we started working together. Obviously, I remember you bought my book on the same day, and I can't remember, a week or two later, you came to my seminar on sleep transformation.
Yes.
In that seminar, you wanted to work with me.
Yes, I went. I bought your book the very same day. It's a wonderful book. It's been a great help, and I keep having. There's lots of good reference points in there to do it. It's an invaluable book to anybody who can't sleep. It's got so much information in there. It's a mine of information. And I went to the seminar, and then we organized a one-on-one session, I believe. And the first session that we had, I found it very, very heavy session. It was a very, very emotional session, which was good, I imagine. Yes, it was very draining, but I believe very, very necessary, because that was the starting point of change. We went through a lot of things that I don't particularly want to get into as such, because they're very personal. But one of the things, the outcomes of that, was to stop taking the sleeping tablets, almost like cold turkey, as such, and then to do some various exercises, or to get into a new routine. You use exercises that were in the book, from the the chakras and that were in the book, and also to stop taking the medications.
Which was your decision, right?
Sorry?
Which was purely your own decision.
Yes, and also to have a new routine before going to bed. for example, have a shower, have a cup of tea, that sleep tea, like chamomile tea or things like that, stuff that hasn't got caffeine in. And it was that got me into a new routine for getting to sleep.
Now, in our first session, because I remember that session, you went for a couple of hours, and then from those couple of hours, you rang me afterwards, and you said you don't feel well. You're going through a lot of emotional breakthrough. And I spent, how long did you spend that day? We spent a few hours together on the phone. And
yes, I imagine it was probably at least 4 or 5 hours that we spent together on that particular day.
And you slept that day, and then you woke up. I was a bit worried about you. It was very, very, very heavy. Like you said. Now, the next day I got an email from you, and you said that was you had the best night's sleep ever, or something like this.
That is correct. Yes, yes, I certainly did.
Yeah, you did. Yes. Okay. So in that session? What happened in that session?
Well, I think you powered me through all sorts of levels of emotion, or emotional baggage, I imagine the word is, from things that have happened perhaps right throughout my life, from relationships to fears, things that could just be barriers to sleep, subconsciously rather than consciously, and we worked on that, not only in that session but on a couple of sessions after as well, to try and find out exactly what the cause was. And really it's all irrational fear that causes lack of sleep, I believe.
Yeah. I remember in the first session you couldn't even relax. Every time you tried to relax, you had this choking sensation, like somebody's choking you on your neck. Do you remember that?
Yes, I would choke and cough, and also it's a similar thing that happened even going to sleep, is that I would wake up and I couldn't breathe, and that has stopped.
Okay, and I remember asking you, why do you think you're choking? Have you had it checked? You said yes. Tell me more about. Doctors couldn't find the problem because there was no problem there, was it? That specific.
That's right. That's right. I mean, one of the other things that I had a cough, which generally started and stopped, but it would go on far too long. It would last for 6 months and then go away. But in the end, I'd had it around the time I'd had it for about 3 years before I met you, and eventually. After meeting you, the cough has disappeared.
Isn't it amazing how others, when you work on sleep, because your primarily problem when you came to me was good news, teaching you how to sleep well, but all the other problems disappeared with it. Isn't it amazing?
Yes,
how that,
yes it is. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, can you share a little bit your experience working with me? What was that like?
Well, I mean, as with working with anybody, you have to learn to trust them. And the other question is this going to work to begin with? And then you gradually build up a trust, and then you build up a friendship as well. And I believe that that is important, because I felt that you have helped me enormously to get through the problem with sleep, and I've been fully grateful for all the help and support that you have given. I felt that you've gone even beyond expectation for the way that you've kept in check, keeping in contact with me, just to make sure I'm still on track, I think. but yes, I feel that you have it. It's not just a job for you. You actually care. Is what I'm trying to say, I think.
Yes, yes. Of course I can, of course. Okay, that's good. Now, what is your life now like? Now that wherever you are right now after working with me, because we started working in October, didn't we? And we worked for a couple of months together.
Yes.
And now you're fixed. Now, what is your life like now?
I don't worry about going to sleep anymore. I used to worry about it. I don't take any tablets. Since October I have been totally drug free. I don't see a doctor. I don't want to see a doctor because I believe that as soon as you're given prescription drugs or anything like that, that's a slippery slope down to old age. It's the slippery slope that one drug relies on another, and so on and so forth. And how long do you have to take these drugs? Oh, you'll have to take them for the rest of your life. I don't want that to happen, or rather, I'm saying that's not going to happen. Is my phrase that I've been using lately. If somebody says you've got to have that for the rest of your life, it's not going to happen.
That's good. Okay, now how is your sleep?
I'm sleeping well. I'm sleeping solidly all night and every night, for the most part, yes. And generally I'm getting about 7.5 hours of sleep at night, and and I'm getting off within half an hour.
Okay. How long did it used to take to fall asleep before you met me?
Anything up to 4 hours.
Right.
Anything up to 4 hours. I could be awake for an hour, 2 hours, and then be off to sleep, or I'd get off to sleep and then wake up an hour or two after going to sleep, and then be awake for another 2 or 3 hours. But no, generally speaking, I am off to sleep and I stay asleep.
It's fantastic. What else? How much more could you ask for?
I couldn't. I am most grateful to your help. It's been wonderful.
Now, sleeping well. Now, has that improved any other areas of your life at all?
Well, at least I get up in the morning feeling refreshed. I never used to be refreshed when I got up in the morning. I would wake up and say, "Oh, morning, got to get up." Now I'm quite happy to get up and get out of bed straight away once I've had a good night's sleep. I'd actually forgotten what it was like to actually want to get up.
Yes, of course it did. You don't know bad things, you just know all the good stuff, like bad never happens.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to ask you this question. Now, have you seen any other like sleep doctors or doctors to help you with the problem when you had the problem before you met me?
Well, I went to the Prince Charles Hospital for a sleep apnea test, and they they did a test for me, and they claimed, yes, I had some mild apnea, but they couldn't really do anything for me.
So they didn't give you any treatment, suggested anything to do?
They suggested that I could buy a machine for all sorts of very expensive machine, thousands of dollars, I think it was, but I would have to buy it myself because they wouldn't be able to do anything for me. And I didn't like the idea of having a machine anyway. Why? Who wants to sleep with something covering the face of their mouth to every night? That's a slippery slope, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So that didn't, seeing sleep doctor didn't help you, and
it didn't help me. No.
Got it. Because you said you used medication and herbal medication too.
Yes, I combined them both. As time went on and the effects of getting to sleep with the medication wore off, I would increase the medication, and it was not prescription medication; it was over-the-counter medication, as well as herbal medications. I would have a combination of them, and it would. By the time I met you, I was having about 4 different tablets a night to try and push sleep.
And did that work?
Sometimes it worked, but it gradually wore off. It was ineffective. I just had them in the hope that it would work.
Now, you mentioned you saw a hypnotist for a few sessions. How much did that cost you, all of the sessions altogether? How much did that cost you?
I can't remember how much it cost. I think it may have been about $150.
Per session or altogether?
Not per. I think it might have been about $150, $200 for 2 sessions, possibly 3.
Okay.
Something like that, but I haven't felt any benefit from it.
Okay. Yes. Now, if you were to, okay, let me ask you this question. What did you enjoy mostly about working with me? I mean, when I first started working with you, I didn't even have an online program. I just, we just worked together. However, what did you mostly enjoy working with me?
Well, I enjoyed your personality. I like your personality very much. You're very friendly. You're very understanding. I liked the idea of following your recommendations as to what to do to solve the problem. I didn't understand some of the recommendations, and probably I still don't understand them, because they are rooted in Chinese and then Indian. Some of it is rooted in Chinese and Indian. What's the word? Medication, not medication. Philosophies.
Yeah.
For things like
meridians?
Meridians, yes. Things like that. Yeah, but it seems to work, so don't knock it.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Well, the main thing here is the result, isn't it? That not the journey.
Yes.
Sometimes, like you said, you didn't understand some of it, but they worked.
Yes.
You don't need to understand what they do, what they are. Just do what I say, and it will work. Just trust the process. It will work, because I know it's the formula.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. We don't often understand how medication work, and we don't need to, but people still take medication and stuff like this, or other stuff. So, okay. Now, if you were speaking to somebody who was still thinking about should I trust Sveti, should I not? What, just for people who are hesitating to fix their sleep, what would you say to them?
Well, I've already spoken to some people who at some of the sessions that I've been to, and I've told them how good you've been for me, and I've told them that as long as you're serious about following the recommendations that Sveti gives you, then by all means it's worth doing. It's not worth doing if you don't want to follow the advice you're given. It's, you know, if somebody says, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that, and yeah, okay, she told me I've got to do this, but I haven't got time to do it, then it's not worth doing that. You've got to follow somebody who knows, and you know what to do. And I put myself 100% behind your recommendations because I wanted to solve the problem. And I've solved the problem.
Fantastic. I'm so pleased for you to have such good results, and that was my #1 priority, to get you to that good night's sleep, and obviously it worked really well, and I'm glad you followed my instructions and things like this. And now, do you have anything else you can add to our chat today? Something you forgot to mention, or anything like you wanted people to hear, or anything you wanted to add in addition?
Well, I haven't said that I've never found anybody like you. If you even put the word Sleepologist into the Google search engine, there's only one person who comes up.
Yes.
And that is you.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that you've I have researched. You don't know this probably, but I've researched you as well.
Okay.
No, I'm not cyber stalking you. But I've researched you to see what others have done, and you seem to know your stuff. You've done a lot of work and research into what you're doing, and I've noticed a lot of extra research since you've made your book as well. And so I believe that I put myself 100% behind the things that you say, because you know what you're talking about.
Yes, of course. And so people should research me, because to have that trust, people don't know me, so they need to research to know who I am, and whether they should believe me, even what I'm saying to them, or trust me in what I do, in my abilities or capabilities to fix the problem. So I have no problem. I personally, if I want to be involved with somebody in their services, I would research them too. I would want to know what they're doing, what can they do for me, whether they're good fit or not. So yeah, you've done the right thing. And I encourage people to research. Go research, put my name in the search, see what comes up, see what they can find, and make the decision whether I'm the right fit for them or not.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Otherwise,
and some of the sessions that I've been to with other people with you, I've mentioned how you have helped me, and I believe that they have also come to you because of
yes,
my results.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You became my evangelist purely because you do, as I understand, you do value what our work we've done together and things like this. So, and I actually really grateful for your trust in me and my program, and your dedication to make this work. Like you said, I don't accept everybody into my program. If people not willing to put 100% into fixing their problem, then I don't want to work with them, because I don't want people who don't have results. People who are not gonna, put work into this to fix their problem. Because after all, it's your problem. It's not my problem. I'm there I'm there to be with you in this journey to get you best result. So I'm not there to convince you or anything like that. I'm not there to, things like that. So I'm there to fix your problem, whether you want it or not. And if you don't want it, don't bother. Why bother? If you want to invest your money with me, but not do the work, I'm not going to accept your money. And I'm not going to give you my time to work with me, because working with people, it takes a lot of my time. As you mentioned, we worked that first day. I did not have any other appointments. I knew I need to be there available for you.
Yes.
Having other appointments. So my time is valuable, and I appreciate when people appreciate my time and do the work. Yes.
Oh, I'm very much appreciative of what you've done for me. Yes.
Have the best results possible.
And I do tell others about you when I get the chance.
Yes. Okay. One last question. You said you've been suffering with insomnia for 15 years or so. Now, from the time we started working together, how soon did you start sleeping well?
Well, after that first session, I did sleep very well.
Okay.
Yes. But I think over the coming weeks, well, as I say, I went cold turkey straight away. I went completely off the tablets. And I think that after that, I think I had a couple of nights where I was awake all night. And I thought, I've got to get through this. I've got to get through this. I'm not going to have a tablet or anything like that. And I've got to get myself into this new routine, which was in this particular instance to have a shower and to have special sleeping tea, I think, sleep tea, that just to get into a completely new routine and allow that to seep in and do it. And I believe that some kind of detox happened, and I think probably within a fortnight, I started getting into a good routine and never looked back.
Yeah, good. So basically you just stuck to the instructions and
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Fight that desire to take the medication. And basically, once you had that little lapse, which wasn't even a lapse, it was the part of the journey to get your body.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, and I remember you were one of my heaviest clients I've ever had. One of my toughest.
I hope you mean by heavy, you don't mean overweight. Yeah. Hardest client.
Yeah. Very, very. You were one of my most traumatized people I've had to work with, and we worked a couple of times a week. We used to catch up at the beginning, didn't we? First couple of weeks.
Absolutely, yes, that's right. Yes.
And then sometimes I thought, why do I not hear from you? And you're like, well, I have nothing to report. I'm just sleeping. So yeah. And I remember it was a good journey for you and for me as well. All right. So thank you so much for today.
My pleasure.
For sharing your journey with me and information and things like this. And I appreciate your time today. And we'll see you in the next future.
Yes, and I wish you all the best for your future too.
Thank you. Actually, I just realized I've known you for nearly a year.
Nearly a year, yes.
Yeah. And we're still talking.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And hope we still continue to as well.
Of course, yeah. All right.